What is up, Instagram, or from wherever you end up watching this after I post it. Let me see. So today I want to talk a little bit, what's going on, Pop, about cancel culture. And since I want this to be a little bit of an interactive thing, I'm going to give it, I just started at 8, so again, since I want this to be a little bit interactive, and there's 2 people here right now, I'm gonna give it a few minutes. In the meantime, what's up, Pat? What's up, Val? How y'all doing? Thank you for joining. Woo! Picture frame just fell behind me. Oh, dude, it's my monkey. Still a piece of art I got. Anyway, but yeah, let me make this video. So I'm up in the air about thanks. I'm up in the air about cancel culture. And you guys are 2 of my best friends, so join in. Hi, Pat. I feel like it's dangerous. It's possibly dangerous. And I know, Val, you had the question, like that's what you wanted me to talk about. This is what I don't like about it, right? Take Dave Chappelle, my favorite comedian. He says some of, the most, sorry, I'm like swapping for a fly here. He says some of the most, what people would call or have called misogynistic, transphobic, all these things. And I hear it and I laugh when I hear it. His specials, like, he's a comedian, and I know he doesn't feel that way. He is my favorite comedian. And that's what I'm saying. I know that he doesn't feel that way. You know what I mean? I know it's his shtick. It's part of his comedy routine. I see it as a way to bring awareness, to just to tell his story. It's what Dave Chappelle does. Now, I know someone that has, because of like his last special, not the 846, the one before that, when he talked about Michael Jackson and, fiddling with the kids or whatever, now he's called, he's a pedophile. Like, what? How is Dave Chappelle a pedophile? You know what I mean? Like, how is, at what point does, are we as a society too in our, just about, crucifying people, Kevin Hart, what he said about, the gay son thing, again, if he felt that way back then, I feel like if we don't allow people to, now these are 2 vastly different things. Dave Chappelle still currently makes these jokes, in his stand-ups. This was something Kevin Hart did, a decade ago or more, whatever. But I feel like with the whole cancel culture thing, I feel like instead of just saying right away, get rid of this person, why don't we use that same power to say, hey, this is what you said, here. Well, if it's a pattern, if it's here over a number of years, then shit, But this is what you said 10 years ago about blah. Can you explain this? Oh, well, you know what? I was talking to my friends. We were just going back and forth, blah, blah, blah. But it was a joke, if that's what it was. Or, you know what? I really did feel that way, but, it's been 10 years, or it's been 1 year, or it's been 1 month, and I've met someone of this particular whatever, or I've spent time, here, there, doing whatever, and, like, this is how I feel about it now. If someone can't come out and say something like that, then fine, that person needs to be, addressed. but to not give them the opportunity to, or to just flat out not believe their apology after it's brought to light, I feel is very dangerous. And I feel, especially in this climate where it's extreme left and extreme right, and that's all that dominates the media, because, you know, that's what sells, that's what people click on, that's what people, you know, want to hear. I feel like it's dangerous. And by just canceling people and not allowing them, not having that conversation that I'm trying to have now, or that we should all be having, or whatever, I feel by not having that conversation, it pushes people to those extreme lefts, to those extreme rights. And I'd much rather not cancel someone right away and say, hey, let's talk about this, explain this. Do you still hold these views? If you do, why? Okay, now I understand your point of view. You have the right to feel that way. We all have, you know, rights to feel how we feel. But this is how I feel. You know what I mean? And I kind of feel like that's where I would prefer that this all went. As far as cancel culture, there's so much more to it. All right, there you go. I see canceling someone as a way of self-preservation. Well, again, yeah. It doesn't negate worth of the person being canceled. It's energy. Okay, understood. Now, I appreciate that, and I agree with that. But I feel like it needs to be more targeted then. How about that? I think it needs to be more targeted if we do that. So let's say like this Papa John's video that came out the other day. And guess what? I threw it up. I got it from Coach Devin Buchanan. And I threw it up and I was like, these kids need to be fired. Again, it wasn't a cancel on Papa John's, you know, or Jimmy John's or whatever. It was Jimmy John's, right? And I just kind of feel like when it gets to, you know, let's not shop at all Jimmy John's because of this kid. Most Jimmy John's are franchises. Yeah, Jimmy John's, right. Most Jimmy John's are franchises. Canceling it doesn't have to be permanent. I understand that. But nobody ever says, hey, that cancel is over. Let's whatever. And again, that's what I feel, that whole canceling doesn't have to be permanent. I feel like then it loses its power. And I feel like that's what's happening. I feel like, you know, the right, or if we're going to go left, right, whatever, you know, because now everyone's saying it's a liberal left thing. I do a lot of air quotes, by the way. I guess I don't want to be canceled for thinking, well, for saying whatever, but when we don't do, I feel like when we don't do things intentionally and surgically, it can lose that power. So are we saying cancel Kevin Hart for 30 days or cancel, because I believe now I found out, like they said, Jimmy John's donated $100K to the Trump campaign. If you don't agree with that, I don't agree with that. I'm not going to push my political views on you, but guess what? Now that I know that exactly, like blackout days, like cool, I'm with blackout days. That's not canceling someone. That's not calling for you know, all of Jimmy John's to not be shopped at. And the reason why why I say it needs to be surgical is because these Subways, maybe not so much Jimmy John's, but if it happens at Subway, if it happens at Church's Chicken, think about if it happens in somewhere in these neighborhoods where those people need to go to work and they need to feed their families, you know, they shouldn't all have to pay for something one idiot employee did or 10 idiot employees do at 10 different Jimmy John's. Target those 10 different Jimmy John's is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, just be very specific about it. I'm saying I would appreciate, you know, if it would ever to happen to me, because what I have texted to people back in the like, you know what I mean? I'm a young brash kid, you know, we're texting, blah, blah, blah. Jokes. Most of it are jokes. And if you just read that out of context, shit, that's what he thinks? No. They were telling jokes. No, is that joke funny? At the time, I thought it was. May I think it is today? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Dev, I don't appreciate you trying to push it onto Karens. Like, tell me what you feel about canceling. Let's talk about this first, because I'm the only one. Exactly, there's truth in every joke. Very true. But I think it's like stereotypical. You know what I mean? And again, I feel like that also kind of comes back to the stereotypes. One, we either grew up with, saw, you know, and felt, like I'll say this, you know, growing up in Chester, growing up in Delaware County, growing up in Brooklyn for a bit, going into Asian supermarkets, Asian markets. Oh, Dev wants to join in. I'll pull him in, but let me finish with this. Going into Asian supermarkets when I was a kid, I always felt demeaned. I always felt like that. And like I sometimes you visibly see it, and they are making their living in the hood, and when you walk in the door, they're looking at you like you're trash. But I'm gonna take your money. I'm gonna hate you, or I'm gonna visibly show you that I don't appreciate you. But I'm gonna hate cooking your order, but I'm gonna take your money. I've witnessed that. I've felt that. I've been looked at that way. You know what I mean? But I don't, you know, I try not to carry that into every, you know, Chinese store I walk into. If it happens, it happens. I feel it, I recognize it. But I've also been in some where it hasn't been that way. So I'm not going to say cancel, you know, like, look, Asian people don't treat us right. Let's not shop Chinese food for a day. No, I'm going to be like, every time I go into this place, Bo Sing, love Bo Sing. Every time I go into this place, this is what happens. If there are other people that have that's a similar experience, that's a problem. Let's focus on it. Let's attack it. You know what I mean? So that's how that again. I'm not arguing for or against. I'm just trying to get across my view on it. You know what I mean? And to let y'all know, I'm struggling with the whole cancel culture thing, because yes, there are things that need to be attacked, people that need to be put, you know, to be set right and to be held accountable. You know, I just feel like when it keeps happening, pop, and before like one situation is dealt with, you know, from start to finish, bam, we're on another one. Cancel this, cancel that. How about, hey, let's talk. Tell me about this. Let's talk about this. All right. So let me bring Dev in, because again, nobody just wants to stare at this face. So there we go. What up, Dev? Pop in here. Cancel these knots, you idiot. All right, your connections. There you go.
Yo.
All right. Tell us your thoughts on canceling. Do you saw the questions going up? You know what? I don't know what the personal cancel thing means. Go ahead.
So I think
Get closer. I can't
culture.
hear you, but...
So first of all, I don't have much experience with this term. I haven't even really seen it. I guess it don't be on my timeline or anything like that. So I don't really see it that much. But the idea, I think, of canceling culture is that, you know, for me, I think it's a cop-out for a lot of people to understand other people's plight. Exactly. I think if they don't understand what's happening, they're like, well, just cancel it. I don't care about it anyway. It don't got nothing to do with me. And I think that's that's detrimental because the U.S. is built on culture,
Well,
a
right.
variety of cultures.
Right. So the what cancel culture, as I understand it, and what I've been witnessing is it means like it's a habit now of people saying, I don't like what you said. This this is racist, or this
Yeah.
is, or I hold this to be anti-gay. And if that's how you feel about something somebody said,
Yeah.
I just feel like then you say, hey, here it is. Do you mind explaining this?
Yeah.
Do you still feel this way? I saw you posted this last week. Ooh, has to be recent. How you feeling about it? Let's talk about this. I'd much rather talk to somebody because guess what? They might just be ignorant on some shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just might not know. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I feel what also happens in the cancel culture thing is, like Dave Chappelle said in one of his stand-ups, he goes when he's talking about Jesse Smollett, Juicy Smollett, or whatever, right?
Juicy Smollett.
What he was saying is like when it came out, everyone gay was like, justice for Jesse, because he's a gay black man. Justice for Jesse. And he was like, then when the black community wasn't very loud about it, they were accused of being anti-gay. And Dave was like, nah, we help him by staying quiet because we know that story is bullshit. That's what he was saying. He's like,
I remember that.
Like, we're helping, but it's because that story sounded like bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So again, I feel like people just sign on to petitions or pass on, just, oh yeah, I'll put my name here, or yes, let me forward this, because they feel like if they don't, then they're going to now look like they are for it. Yeah. And I understand the whole silence is violence thing, or whatever, but guess what? If you don't know about something, if you haven't done the research into something, why would I put that out there? Because then it's going to look like this is what I believe. And if I don't know, why would I put that out there?
Yeah, yeah.
That's my thing on cancel culture.
No, I agree. I think like I said, I think it's a cop out for people to not have to be accountable or to learn anything new or get out of their comfort zone.
And again, a lot of this comes where people want to cancel someone who doesn't agree with what they agree with or what they believe.
Yeah.
I mean, free speech, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't have it that the only free speech that's allowed is love, unity, anti-racism, and all the good stuff. That can't be the only. I like that. I stand by canceling as strategic. Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. But that's what I'm saying. Like when you just start, okay, well, he said this then, and he said that. Why are we calling out, this person for that? But what influence? Again, if this person holds influence, a lot of influence, right? And it's like, if they build a platform on racist shit, and you see they hold a lot of influence, that's something to go after and cancel. You know what I mean? That's something to go after and cancel. If it's some schmuck who nobody pays attention to, some deadbeat actor, I hate this whole actors, actresses thing, getting into this, whatever, but they're people as well. You also have to remember they're people as well. So yes, they're allowed to have their opinion. But, again, with violence,
I hate when people request, like I saw somebody the other day, Jamie Foxx had like a sponsored post that came up about some sunglasses he was pushing.
Yeah.
And somebody commented like, has Jamie Foxx spoken out about the race relations? I'm like, that's not this dude's job. I'm like, he's selling sunglasses. Like, why does he need to speak out about it? Like,
Val, I think will have something to say about why he need. Well, okay,
I'm not saying that he doesn't, that he shouldn't.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that he shouldn't. Right. I'm saying that it's not somebody else's responsibility to say that he has an obligation. That's ridiculous.
Exactly. You know, so again, yes, let's be more strategic about it, because outside of that, I feel like it just pushes people to the fringes.
Yeah.
Because if you're not going to listen to me, and we're supposed to be, you know, the middle. That's what I'm trying to be here, is the middle.
Yeah.
Drown out the noise. Let's talk. So if that space isn't available, where are they going to go? They're going to go to someone who says something that kind of sounds like what they agree with. You know?
Yeah.
And then they start listening to more and listening to more. And then you just lost your opportunity to bring that person towards your point of view, or to learn from that person, and even though you still come away not agreeing, you now know the next time someone brings this up, you know, okay, I've heard this before, and I've had time to think about this because I've had this conversation before. You know what I mean? And this is now how I feel. This is still how I feel. Or you know what? I do understand this because I did some research after I spoke with this person about it. And, you know, I'm a little bit more iffy about it now. I'm not so set in my way about it. You know what I mean?
I like that. I like that take on it. This woman I follow, her name's Depe Alaru, and she had posted something on her TikTok, and she was like, you know, there's a difference between like when you see something you disagree with and you attack a person versus trying to educate a person. And like an attack, you know, it totally leaves that person wanting to defend themselves and not wanting to make any change at all.
Right.
And if you try to educate somebody, just like you said, they might leave the conversation wanting to know more or be further educated.
Exactly. Hold real quick. Val, do you want to hop on? Because Val said, I definitely have something to say.
Yo, I'll hop off. Let her hop on.
Well, I'll see if she does. Thank you, Deb.
Yep.
So yeah, if you want to hop on, Val, at any point, let me know. Oh, wait, is that her? Hold on. Yep, there she is. All right. So welcome the woman that has pretty much helped me through all of this so far. Ms. Val Logan.
Hello.
What is up? Speak your mind.
No, just kind of looping back to what you guys were talking about before. And initially you were talking about, sorry, I'm trying to get situated. When I initially posted the question, what about person to person? So canceling, you're talking about it on a really big level. So you're talking about it like within franchises and within businesses, and shrink it down. Like, let's talk about if somebody comes at you or somebody's speaking with you and you are, you're not seeing eye to eye. This person is stressing you out. This person is taking your energy, the energy that you would use to apply to something else that would be productive and wonderful. Are you supposed to just drag them like a dead weight? Because that's cancel. That's cancel culture.
It's not main. I'm talking mainstream cancel culture.
That is mainstream. It is a part of your life.
Cancel culture.
Personal cancel culture.
You cannot survive without it.
Exactly. That is a part. Like, if you read about cancel culture, that's a part of cancel culture. It's not just a part. Yes, a part. Okay. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that part.
We can talk about that part. Again, I believe that is extremely necessary for your mental health, which I always put out there. I struggle with. I think
we all do.
You know,
especially right now.
Well, yeah. So yes, you need to mind the company you keep. Because it's like osmosis, you know what I mean? You're gonna pull in. That's why it's such a big thing for the
But
millionaires and the billionaires. It's your circle, you know what I mean?
I
So
do, I do. But I think
so
also
if
right
someone's
now,
not,
the
so if someone's
circle,
just on you, you let that go. But what do you mean?
I think right now the circle is changing. You know, the people, even, I don't know if you've had these experiences over the past, I don't know, 5, 6 weeks.
Mm.
Um, Opinions are coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, but they're
Opinions are
just opinions. Opinions are to be spoken about,
opinions
not
are to
not
be spoken
canceled,
about,
not
but
canceled. Right?
it's also not my responsibility to educate anybody.
No, it's not.
So, I mean, there's a fine line
It's not.
between between being open to opinions and being in a place where you're a punching bag, where somebody is, you know, sucking the energy that you would then use for something positive. I think that we're in a time where even people that have been close in the past or are friendly acquaintances, their views, their opinions are coming out, and it's not something that you would necessarily align yourself with
Right.
because these conversations that are happening now are different. They're different conversations that than would happen, you know, in normal everyday conversation. So I think for me, cancel culture and canceling people on a personal level
Mm.
has helped me to navigate this time.
Oh yeah.
Um, because it's not, you know, even having these conversations, us sitting down having this conversation, you offering this platform to have this conversation, this is a gift. This is something that you've decided to do and to give to people. If they don't agree with you and if they don't like your opinions, like you said, they don't have to follow, they don't have to
Right.
listen. But if somebody is on this platform and they are not seeing eye to eye and they're forcing things down your throat, or vice versa,
Right.
it's that person's prerogative to just to leave and
Agreed.
to, you know, you don't have to
100%.
be a punching bag.
So my thing is, I guess my thing is when it comes into when you say punch bag, it's I kind of feel like it gets to a point, not the personal one, um, the more corporate or the more celebrity fueled, media fueled one.
Okay.
It's more of like a public shaming thing, and there's a lot of growth in shame. A
Yes,
lot
a
of growth can
lot.
come from shame. But is that what they're looking for? Because when these people
Who are
sometimes when these people apologize, oh fuck that, I don't believe that, and now that's your choice to believe it. All I'm saying is like if you're
I
gonna
think it's
put
about
something
moving
out there,
information though. I mean,
what's up?
even what you guys were you and Devin were speaking about the Jimmy John
Mm.
situation. Um, because of that situation, it pushed me to look into the other practices of Jimmy John's, and I
Yep,
was like,
and
oh, y'all did this, and this is like this, and
exactly.
then your owners are like this. So without that, that exposure wouldn't have happened for me. You know what I'm saying? And now they are like super freaking canceled. But
Right, yes. So Jimmy John's right. They gave the 100K to Trump. So now that puts me in a weird position because I really like Jimmy John sandwiches, but do I need Jimmy John sandwiches? No. But by now, because of this, whoever in Jimmy John's, because it's the corporation, it's the owner. Is it the one share, like the biggest shareholder, or is it the guy that's the face? You know, all
it's
these
the
types of things.
founder.
I know we're putting money in the one person out of the 1,000 people who own Jimmy John's type thing, you know, pocket, but there are still people working at these jobs that need that money. That you
Sure,
know what I mean? And that's
I
and
understand
that's
what you're
where
saying.
my worry goes. Is all I'm saying is my worry goes and my concern goes to that person that walks into that job that has nothing to do with the guy at Jimmy John that gave Trump 100K, you know, but they're just trying to like put food on the table,
Hmm.
and we know a Jimmy John salary ain't gonna, give you a comfortable life, really.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's the person I worry about. I see it more on a human level, you know, or I look at all the people it will affect, and it's not to say let's not address, this one person, But let's figure out a way to say, you know what? Who gave that $100,000? Was it Jimmy John's or was it the head guy in Jimmy John's? And then we say, okay, you, the head guy in Jimmy John's, this is what we're going to do. And we figure out a way to target him. But,
well, this is the whole thing too, is like, you know, there are people who willy-nilly will, if they find a business or a person or whatever that they don't agree with, they'll just cancel it without doing further digging. They're just like, I'm done with you.
Yes.
The thing that I'm highlighting is I completely agree with honing in on why you're canceling a business or a person or an organization,
Yep.
and targeting. But I think that cancel culture as a whole just gets a bad rap. When Devin was speaking about it's like kind of a cop out, I think that if done strategically, it's I could not disagree more. I think that it takes a lot of energy, and I think it takes a lot of research to properly cancel someone or properly cancel an organization, because you should come at it the same way that you go with like making purchases and spending your money. Is like, don't throw your money at anybody. Research what you're buying, research who you're giving your money to. Don't cancel everybody, research what you're canceling. So I think it's just a matter of as a whole, it just has a bad rap. I don't think that going into a situation and saying like, this could be an option for me.
Yeah.
And who's to say that canceling something or an organization doesn't provide growth? If that person has to look at themselves and go,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why I'm being canceled.
Yep.
Or that organization has to go, wow, I wonder why XYZ amount of money isn't coming in. And they do that deep dive, because it doesn't happen every time, but sometimes it does. Sometimes it does.
This is my retort or repute or however. Cap would know the word. This is me coming back. This is me clapping back at you. No, I completely agree. But no, I do. I completely agree. But is that change real? Is that press statement made to save your business? You know what I'm saying?
Yes and no. Just because it's made to save your business doesn't mean it's not real to someone. Doesn't mean it has to be real to everyone, but somebody it might be real to someone. So
Right.
I mean, I think that this is like a slippery freaking slope. I mean, we could go down it for months and months and months.
That's my whole point.
But what I'm saying, as a whole, I just hope that people, when you look up information about cancel culture, it's like real salty. And it doesn't need to be. It can be strategic, and I think that self-preservation is really what you need to be focused on. So if you can't eat a freaking Jimmy John sandwich and then sleep at night, you shouldn't be eating Jimmy John's. But if you're like, you know, they really did make that effort and I feel okay about it, that is your prerogative. For me, right. I'm not eating Jimmy John's, but that doesn't mean it has to be like your choice.
Right. So
I think it's just a level of like being a conscious consumer. And I think that right now, so many people are reflecting on how they spend their time and their money. And I think that cancel culture can be a tool.
It can be a tool. How many businesses do we know that have been successfully canceled, or people that have been successfully canceled and then not just like pop back up later? Rebuttal. There you go, my man. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I see the rebuttal.
You probably Googled that. No, but I just, again, I feel like if we're gonna do it, stick to it. Make sure it's done. Make sure it's addressed. And then when it's done and addressed, and whoever started it is happy, say so. You know what I mean? Like if you now think like, hey, I started this. I believe that, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Peloton did almost get taken out.
For what?
You didn't see the Peloton commercial?
No. Were they coming at Negroes? I don't know. I don't know.
They were not coming at Negroes.
I don't know.
We keep going.
Right,
that's a whole.
I'll research Peloton.
Yes.
But what I'm saying, so my thing with no cancel culture. I've heard similar things with Black Lives Matter, right? Well, what you said is there are different like levels or different facets to cancel culture, right?
Sure.
There are different now. Does cancel culture mean boycott? Oh, let's get back to that. Let me try to finish. Let me try to finish because my memory's crap and I think I already lost it. But like within Black Lives Matter, you have the let's riot, let's burn everything down. Then you have the no, let's talk, let's try to work things out. Then we have the whatever, you know what I mean? My thing is like I, and I've heard people say this. I believe in the essence of what Black Lives Matter is, but I don't believe in the company because now
So you mean the
looking
organization specifically?
exactly the organization, right?
Because right now it's being divided into these, there's Black Lives Matter, the organization, and then there's Black Lives Matter, like the movement, because it's been used to like name the civil rights movement that we're going through right now.
And without focus, what
Yes.
happens? What happens to people? Without focus and without organization, what creeps in? Someone else creeps in and starts doing a little something here. Now you co-opted whatever this group was about. It's like when the protests started happening, it was all peaceful. And then you just get the looters or the whatever. But then bricks started showing up in places, just dropped off in places. So it's a setup. Someone's trying to now fuel that or whatever.
I mean,
So I'm just saying, like,
in any movement, there's
right,
going to be people who are trying to divert, energy and focus from that movement. And this
right,
is the same. We have to, just as people who are allies and activists, we have to like pay attention to like to what's being said and what's being done and how it's being said and how it's being done and align ourselves accordingly. I mean, but that's with even like we were just talking about with cancel culture, it's the same thing.
right,
So I think you should answer that question. Does cancel culture mean boycott? That's a good
right.
question.
For me, that's what it would mean for me
Mm-hmm.
on a corporate level, right? But again, I'm not sure if you were here earlier, Suzanne. Um, I just I agree with the aspect with the essence of cancel culture. I just believe it should be strategic and targeted. Um, we can't be dropping drone missiles here. This is what I'm saying. We can't drop something and then just have it destroy whoever's in the vicinity of it. You know what I mean? Like we need to send in a special ops team and we get that one person. That's what I'm trying to get at. The collateral damage is I'm not a fan of. I don't agree with on a human level.
Mm-hmm.
But cancel culture to me would be, when what was it, Tommy Hilfiger back in the day,
Oh
like
yeah. Wow.
you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
guess what?
Um,
Black folks still rocking Tommy Hilfiger. That's all
so
I'm
for me,
saying.
cancel culture is like less about boycotting, is more about like diverting energy. So
Now, you're talking again personal level?
not even, I mean,
Okay.
even like now, we are really refocusing on how we use Amazon and if we use Amazon and what's, so like I think
Oof.
it's making these conscious decisions and diverting more and less energy to things like basic things. So we have a subscription for hand soap, right, on Amazon. It comes every like, I don't know, month we get hand soap. Instead of buying hand soap on this like subscribe and save through Amazon and filtering money through that company, we've decided to look into a black owned business that's local and get hand
Mhm.
soap there. So, I mean, it's really about refocusing energy. And yes, for us, it takes more energy to go out and to do this research and to find
Mhm.
these other options. And yeah, it might even be more expensive. In this case, it is. But we've consciously decided where to put our energy, funds, whatever. And I think that cancel culture is wrapped up in a lot of the same thing. So, like, if we're not seeing eye to eye and we're constantly hitting heads and we're constantly offending each other, we're constantly hurting each other in a way that makes it so that we're no good for ourselves and the causes that we need to be up. Oop,
Ah!
there we go. We need to reevaluate. And when I said before, canceling somebody or something it doesn't have to be a permanent thing. If they
Right.
come at you with a press release and you're like, I feel really good about that. I would like to start using Amazon again, whatever. In that case, maybe it does kind of look like a boycott. But for me, it's about the diversion of energy and less about saying that, you're not using them entirely or you're saying.
I understand. I mean, again, we just had a conversation about cancel culture. Agreed, disagreed, agreed and disagreed.
So now I'm going to cancel you.
But guess no, but guess what? Now I have a different way of thinking about cancel culture. I never thought about it on the personal level, but I agree on the personal level. Someone's heavy on you, get rid of that shit. Cancel that person.
I think that I've been.
I'm glad that helped Susan.
Oh, dope.
I'm sorry. I'm glad that did help. That Val's helpful. Go ahead.
I think that for me, a lot of my opinions have changed over the past couple of weeks, and just dealing with more people and being more outwardly vocal and putting myself out there in a way that I really didn't put myself out there.
Okay.
Before, where people see your opinion and no question as to where you're leaning. And people decide that it's a safe space for them to insert their opinion too. And I totally agree. I think that it's wonderful and that we're able to be vocal and honest with each other. But at the same time, it's like, if you're coming at me with these contingencies or these just walls and me feeling like I'm progressing or moving forward, you can't do that. I think that I just think that we need to rebrand cancel culture. It needs a rebranding.
It's kind of like just like defund the police. Probably needs a rebrand. Get the meaning. The meaning's there. The brand needs to be rebranded because I think it offends a lot of people. Or now you see these commercials. Now, but again, when we start saying these things and the message isn't clear from the wording, you know what I mean? Because the wording reads one thing, and if I'm a person, which a lot of Americans
don't read,
these type of people, not so much don't read, but I'll see a headline and be like, I know what that's about. I don't want to go through the rest of it because I've seen these similar headlines.
Mm-hmm.
So if the name, if the branding of it says this, but it means something else, that's a problem. That's a problem. I should be able to know from when I see this, that's what you mean. Okay, cool. Let's talk about it. That's all I'm saying.
Why do we need everything to be so black and white?
It doesn't have to be black and white, but I'm just trying to say, if you want to reach the masses, be as direct as possible.
Sure. But I think that messages like defund the police, they cause you to go, what? And then you have to read. I mean, I think that...
Or they cause you to go, what? And you see the commercial that I just saw 5 minutes before I hopped on. There's just fires burning in the background and someone's punching someone and there's looting and it's like,
yeah,
there's a thing. Hey, welcome to 911. Press 1 if you're being raped. Press 2 if you're being tortured. I'm like, what? Because we're defunding the police. You know what I mean? It just lends itself to someone else to expose, to blow up that message.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. Communication. Get branding.
Branding.
Speaking of branding, I'm going to bring you in on Karen and Chad's real quick. Because I'm also confused about, not confused, but emotionally confused. And, you know, that's just Handel on a Tuesday. That's Handel every day. I feel like this too is a slippery slope, Val. Rebrand, I agree. Real quick, rebrand, I agree. Less money towards militarized police, more money towards training, finding better candidates.
Absolutely.
Of course, but defund the police. Where do you see that if you see that on a headline? It doesn't say what you just said and what we know and want it to be. That's all I'm saying.
Thing is, he agrees with rebranding because even at home we joke. Dave and I had gone somewhere. The kids were going nuts. I said jokingly to Dave, I said, "They're lucky the good cop was home, right?" And he said, "No, actually, I'm a social worker now. We've defunded the police in our home." So these like little tweaks, and that's what, you know, we have to kind of be cognizant of. And it's true, like police should be social workers. There should be social workers. Like they should be focused on de-escalating as opposed to this person's in the wrong, bang, bang.
Right. Training. Right. So we'll talk about that on time. But I want to touch on Karen and Chad real quick. I hate that this thing is only an hour because it's just never enough. Then I have all this turmoil in my head for the next week. Either way, why I feel Karen and Chad is a slippery slope. Because as adults, I feel like this is now a form of bullying.
Oh.
It's a form.
I hear you.
It's a form of name calling, and if enough people are offended, okay, so we weren't thought of as niggers until we were given that name.
Sure.
Brought here and given that name. Now, I'm not saying calling someone Karen is the same thing as calling her a nigger in that name, or Chad is the. I'm just saying when if we're trying to, you can't in the same breath be about equal opportunity, equal rights. It's that freedom of speech. I want all my constitutional rights. And then when somebody flips up, bam, you're a Karen, bam, you're a Chad. Like, because now that means I'm a crazy white woman, or I'm like a crazy white man. It's like, no, like, you just had a bad fucking day, maybe. You know what I mean?
The key word is maybe.
Maybe. So why do I now have to wear this badge, the scarlet letter, because now I'm on the internet for it? You know what I mean?
It's the nail in the head.
There's levels. I mean, there's levels. When a motherfucker says, like I saw this video today, dude called a black kid walking. He looked, you know, a light-skinned black kid walking by, and evidently called him the N-word. Kid walks up to him. And he's walking up to him, and you see the dude's power, like, "Hey, man, I don't want any trouble." And then he walks up to the guy and says, "Say it again. Say it again." He's like, No, man, I'm sorry. No, I won't do it again." Smacks him. Bam, knocks him out. It's like something like that. You call somebody a nigger. Yeah, like you need to be honed in on. You know what I mean? Like, you a racist, you a Chad, if that's what it is, that whatever. But it's like, you know, so again, there's levels to it, but not everyone, you know, not just because I don't want to wear a mask. There are a lot of people that don't want to wear masks because you're white and don't want to wear a mask. You're Karen. What if you're black and don't want to wear a mask?
I think this is.
That's all I'm just saying. Like, I'm conflicted about it because yes, people need to be called out, but not every single thing that a white person, like, you're a Karen or you're a Chad. Like, no, you're ignorant or you're a racist or you're wrong or the name calling thing is what's getting at me.
No, I hear you. The name calling it's petty.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I think that what's happening now is all of these, you know, all these Amy Coopers. You know, the language is being used to put people under one umbrella. And yeah, maybe they have a bad day, but also maybe they're a flaming fucking.
Yes.
Like, it's just not something that you know. And, you know, this is media, like you said before. This is media putting these names on people, putting these generalizations out there. So, I mean, we're still humans, and we have the right to say, like, this doesn't hold any weight for me. This doesn't work for me. I think that personally, it's like a headline red flag. So if you're reading
Right.
something and you see Karen behavior,
Karen, you're thinking, oh, what's this crazy white woman doing?
oh,
Yeah.
so it's branding.
Yeah.
It's branding.
It is branding. So so we need to get better at marketing. Is what you're saying? But
We need to market our movement better.
yes, I completely
But the
agree.
thing-
And I'm sorry for anyone out there who feel like the Karen Chad topic was pretty small. It was just something I wanted to like get off my chest. Again, this whole thing is absolutely selfish because it's things that I have questions about that I just turn in my head about, and I want to talk about it, and hopefully you guys want to as well. So it's extremely selfish of me. But when it comes to the branding, again, I think it comes down to also organization, right? So who are the quote unquote black leaders for this, for what's going on? Who is the one person that we look to, or who are these three people that we look to? You know, and I feel like when there's no like core that everyone is getting that message from, it just leaves everyone open to say anything. And I've been watching a lot of Malcolm X lately, a lot of Minister Louis Farrakhan, a lot of James Baldwin, Cornel West, things like people like that. And again, I don't believe in these, in the Black Muslim separatist part of it and this and that, but the message they had, about the damage that was happening in the Black community was there, and it was right. You know what I mean? It was honest. There were facts. You know what I mean? But the branding was wrong. Go ahead.
Our time to look back on those people. I mean, and those right now, all I'm doing is, I think that a lot of people are sitting and they're reading about racism. I'm reading about people that came before us. I'm reading
exactly.
Audre Lorde. Like, I'm reading stuff that I have like tiny notes and it crumbled and the book looks shitty, because that's where we need to refocus our energy. I don't think it's about necessarily having like this group of people to look at and say like, those are the people that have the answers. Those are the people that we need to follow. It's about making decisions based on the information that we have, based on feelings, based on your experience as a Black man, based on my experience as a Black woman, going with our gut reaction and intuition and making decisions and choices based on that. I think that this is a unique time because of social media. We're allowed to guide our own journey as far as becoming better humans. So like, it's not, I keep talking about like homework. I've talked to so many people about homework, but like, it is our time to not only do our own homework, but create our own homework. So I think that, as wonderful as guidance or having like that one person or that group of people, could be for some, this is a time of independent exploration. Like, we have to self-dive. And yes, that's going to make our process slower because not everybody's there. Not everybody's ready to self-reflect in that way and look in there and say, how am I racist?
Right.
We're all racist.
Oh,
we are all racist. We all have implicit biases, and we need to dig. Like what we talked about before is like proximity to whiteness. How does your proximity to whiteness, and it doesn't mean skin color, it literally means these systems that our country is built on, these systems that we continue to perpetuate with everything, our language, our education, the way that we move information. How does that affect you? How does that affect your self-worth? How does that affect how you have conversations with people? How does that affect, every little part of your life? We talked about like the good hair thing. We talked about like all of that is steeped in these beliefs.
You're right.
It's it's all steeped in this belief that like whiteness is best, and we need to move away from that. And it's not just white people, it's us too. So this homework that we're all doing, it's a slow thing. You know, keep reading your Baldwin because that's where the answers are. It's not here. It's not in this time.
Right.
Being writers, poets, playwrights, teachers, exactly. That's
Susan is on point tonight. Woo! Go ahead, Susan. Go ahead. Yes. No, I completely agree with Susan. I completely agree with you. Now, what I say is when I say I am watching these things again, I don't agree with everything Malcolm X did. Oh, I see why people do their makeup in the mirror. Okay. Right. I don't agree with everything Malcolm X said. I don't agree with everything Minister Louis Farrakhan said. But there are portions of what they said that resonated in me, that I still see happening today. You know what I mean? And it's just weird that I'm watching on YouTube a debate with James Baldwin and I forgot his name. Someone else. From 57 years ago.
And it's still relevant.
57 years ago. About if it was the black man who built America, you know, type thing. And the same things they're talking about back then. And I watched the Hollywood Roundtable mixed back then, Sidney Poitier and you know, and Charlton Heston and all mix of people. Hollywood's Roundtable. 50 years ago, same things. Nothing's changed. Or it's changed on the surface.
Yeah.
Visible, you know, it's like, let me put some blinders in your eyes. But we're gonna keep the system in place. We're gonna put these words on paper. But this is where the meaning. So it's like the brand. So what they do is they rebrand. They rebrand it, but they use the same freaking, you know, strategies to redline, to this, to that. And people see the rebrand and they're like, oh yeah, you know what? It's written down here. That's what's happening.
But this is time. This is the thing. We have like 3 minutes. This is the thing.
Yeah.
We're talking about this rebrand. We're having these conversations. We see it happening. This is unique. This specific civil rights movement is unique because we have this gift of being able to see things that we haven't been able to see before. That's really what we need to focus on, is unfurling all of this bullshit.
Right.
So that we can get to the meat and we can do some work. I think that work starts with people looking in the mirror. I think it's beautiful that you're going to protest. I think it's beautiful that people are like, you know, buying all these books and talking to their friends and family members. But when you get home and you look at yourself, what do you see? That's where we need to start. I can't stress enough that nobody has the power to move information and affect policy until you sit there and you look in that mirror and you figure your own shit out.
Yeah. But again, that's what I meant by earlier when I said about this one person or this core group of people, whatever. I don't mean that, and then everyone looks at them and this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to follow. No. But there's power when there's power. Again, every week I'm saying there's power in organization.
Absolutely.
And when they see us, this, and fighting amongst ourselves. And when I say ourselves, I don't mean black people. I just mean ourselves as people who want better. You know, then it's easy for them to put a little wedge here, and then there we go again, and put a little wedge there, and there we go again, while they're stripping back federal housing, you know, rights for minorities and you know, lesser, you know, poor people. And then they're stripping back this here. And we're over here talking about this shiny shit. And this law is getting rolled back, and that law is getting rolled back, and this and that, whatever. Anyway, got 20 seconds left. What I'm going to say is thank you, Devin. Thank you, Val. Val, Talk real quick, 10 seconds. Your show coming up.
We'll be on together next week. And if anyone's not busy on Thursday, there's a community discussion. You can check out Hondel's page. 3 seconds. Peace out.